This is every Chainsaw Man Funko Pop minus one, which we now have. So today, since we have the entire line up to date and seemingly as of 2025, there's none rumored for the rest of the year, I wanted to kind of go over the whole line. This pretty much is only season one, so no movie pops are gonna be in here, but I kind of wanted to go over all of these and then talk a little bit about what's coming next. I have some mixed opinions about some of these, so I want to go into those, and then my very hopeful outlook as to what's coming next. But if you do enjoy this video and you want to see more like it, I do have a complete Attack on Titan collection that we're going to be making a video on pretty soon, as well as Frieren and Ranma and Demon Slayer and My Hero Academia. I'm still missing a little bit, but we're working on them, so we'll get those collections out and videos on those. If you do enjoy a video like this, we'll make those as well. So subscribe, you'll see those again soon. But we're going to go by individual characters, and we're going to start off with Power, since she's the one that we've got a new one of. So as of November 2025, there are 6 Power Funko Pops, and I think they're pretty good for the most part. These do have a little bit more variety than some of them we're going to talk about today, with a notable exception being this one. So this is a Chalice Collectibles exclusive, so was this one. Now I will show you some close-ups of kind of a panning shot here in a second, but this Pop in particular, they made a standard version and they made a chase version. Now this chase version, I think, might be one of the worst chases that I have ever seen. And most notably for that, it is a flocked chase. Now I am not huge on flocked figures. I think they are kind of a cheap way to add an additional figure to your line. Mostly because all you gotta do is flock the pop. You don't have to do anything else. Similar, thoughts whenever it comes to like a metallic pop or especially a glow-in-the-dark pop. But I did want to go ahead and get it because it was the only one that I was missing. And let me just show you a real quick close-up. And you might notice that it is just the floor and Meowie that is flocked. It is not Power in any way, which, makes sense. I guess that is fine, but man, that is I'm going to be honest. I had to pay a little bit more to get this pop because, it is a chase pop. It's for an exclusive retailer, so it's not like I can just go out and try to find the chase. I can only buy it from this retailer, which doesn't have an in-person store near me, so I had to order it basically overpriced. So this is such a waste of a pop in my opinion. Do I think we would have got one in place of it if we wouldn't have got this one? No, but man, is it just a boring little pop. Now, here's what I will say. If this was just a retailer exclusive, say it was a Chalice exclusive and it was $20, I would have bought it. I think this is a neat idea to have just the little cat here flocked and the carpet flocked. I think it's a good idea. But knowing that it is a chase, I think it's a boring chase. I think it's kind of sucks that we're doing that. But anyway, that's those two. Moving on, I think the rest of these are pretty good. Let's just start off with this one. This is a Hot Topic exclusive that we got, and it is of Power in the OP when she's in her bikini. And I actually kind of like this one. I think it's unique for the line to have a kind of a ecchi pop. We don't get those too often, so having that here, I like it. I know most people maybe don't really want to pick that up because they don't want to put that in their collection, but I think it's kind of nice. Also, we have the standard Power Pop here. This is just the common one that you could buy pretty much anywhere, and I think it's well done. With all of these, people have complained that her and Makima do not have any details in their eyes. And personally, that doesn't really bother me. I know some people it does, but to me, I don't really care. So that's a nitpick for some people, but it's not for me. Then we have 2 more left here. This is a pop, I think a premium? I think so. It is where she is smashing some sort of demon there and it's making a big splash. I like this one. I think it's a good pop if you're looking at it like this. However, I think really this is a great looking pop from a lot of angles, but not a perfect pop from any angle. I just think the more I've had it, the more I've sat with it on my shelf, it's just not been perfect. So it's one that I'm kind of fine with, but I don't think it's perfect. And then finally here, we have the Smart Power here with the glasses and the ponytail, which I think is quite nice. But this is the power line. We have 6 of them. This is a character that, while we have gotten quite a few of them, I'm not really upset that we've got this many of them. Power is a fan favorite, and I think she has had enough unique designs here that I'm fine with what we've gotten. There's none to where I feel like that we have gotten the same pop twice. There are others that I feel that way about. But before we talk about a character like that, let's talk about Denji. So Denji has only gotten 3 pops in his standard look here. Now we've gotten the Chainsaw Man pops, but we'll look at those in a different little set here in a second. But Denji here, I actually think these are pretty good. So we've got Denji here with the eye patch and holding Pochita. And I like this one. I think it really works well with the Power and Meowie figure. And I think this one looks pretty good. I'm very happy with this one. Also, I think his standard one here is just a solid looking pop. I think it's well done. I think it really shows off his character quite well. It's a solid pop. And then Smart Denji here really works well. And guess what? It works really well with this Smart Power Pop. All of these, I think, are really good. We've gotten 3 of them. Some people might say that's too many. But in my opinion, I think this is a good lineup for Denji. I don't think we really needed any more. There's some you could make for the movie, but like I said, we'll get to that later. But I think there's none here that I feel like, we didn't need that. I think all of these make sense. Next, let's talk about Aki here. Aki has also gotten 3 pops, and these are 2 that I don't think are too different, but one that is majorly different, which we'll talk about here in just a second. So these are the 2 main ones here, and this was the standard one. This is the standard one that you got basically in all the common waves. You can find this anywhere pretty much. Now this one was an Anime Expo exclusive, and it is him holding his sword here. And while I don't find this very different, they did at least remove his jacket. So there is some differencing in the way that his character just looks in general. So while that's not a lot, and it's one of the more egregious things in this collection, this is not the worst. We'll get to that, don't worry. But this is fantastic. This is a incredible looking pop. Like, wow, from every angle, this thing just looks cool. I love the pose that they gave him. I love just the look of this pop on a shelf. It looks cool. This really, like, if you took away this Funko Pop, this doesn't look like a Funko Pop. And to the people that were upset about some of the other characters' eyes, well, look, you got detail in these eyes. So there you go. I am amazed at how well this pop turned out. I think it is one of the best in this collection, maybe the best. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I am in love with this pop. I think this really made me like the Chainsaw Man line more, and it made me have more faith in Funko as a brand, that they can make more stuff like this. Even though it's quite big, it's really well done. I just hope we get more like this, because wow. Now, there has been a few characters that have gotten only 1 pop, these 4 in particular here, and I'm fine with all of these, really. All of them kind of fulfill their role that they're supposed to be, to give us just a pop of these characters. And there are some of these that I don't think we will ever get anything more of, mostly Samurai Sword and Kishibe here. I don't really think we need anything else of these for at least the notable future. Spoiler, I haven't read past any of this. I've not read any of Chainsaw Man, so I have no clue what happens. But maybe they do play a prominent role later. I don't know. But these 2, on the other hand, I think you probably could do more with her. And I think if you wanted to, since they've already shown us that they can do like an ecchi version with Power, if you really wanted to make an ecchi version of her, you could have like her in like a robe or something. I don't know. You could do something with the scene with her and Denji. You could do that. I don't know what you'd do exactly, but I think there's options. Now, that really depends on how well these figures sold. I don't know how well they did. Maybe they did poorly. I don't know. But overall, I think these are just well done. There's really nothing to complain about with any of these. If I had to pick a standout favorite from these four, probably her, Kobani here. I just think she's kind of cute. And I think you could do a lot more with her in future parts. So we'll see. These are ones I'm fine with. All right, let's talk about Chainsaw Man here. And this is one that I'm kind of a mixed bag on. So we did get the standard one here, as well as the chase. This is just a bloody chase. Now, whenever I originally seen this, I thought that we would have maybe got some like molded blood on there. No, it's just painted. So nothing really cool there except for just some paint, red paint basically all over Chainsaw Man there. But hey, it looks neat, I guess. So those two are the standard ones here. Don't really have any problem with those being a little bit close because they're chase, and it's a common chase, so I'm not really that upset about it. More so was upset with the power one. But we did get this deluxe one here, and this is Chainsaw Man here with all over these little zombies here, and I think this is pretty well done. I don't think it's perfect, but I do think it's nice. And I like that he is shirtless here, gives it a different look than most, and he's got his tongue in, so it's, you know, not the exact same as the common here. And there's some blood splattering out. It's just a neat idea, and I think, you know, out of the ones we could have gotten, I think this one worked. Now, one that I don't really like that much is this one. So this is the Chainsaw Man from the Pop and Tea bundle. So basically, the only difference between this one and this one is that he's got a slightly different pose and he's got a slightly different base. Look, all right, if you own this one, you don't need these. If you own these, you really got to make a decision on whether or not this base is worth it for you, because otherwise this is the exact same as this. His tongue's out, so you don't get anything different there. Like, it's a good pop. I'm not going to lie. This is a solid, it's a well-done pop. However, it is very similar to these two. So this is one that I'm like, unless you don't own any Chainsaw Man stuff and you just want one Chainsaw Man figure, which if that's the case, yes, this is a great pop to get. But if you do own them, just don't buy it. Just don't waste your time. Now let's talk about some characters that I have a problem with. Most notably here, Makima. So Makima has only gotten 2 pops, and I honestly don't think that's a bad call. I think what happened here, most likely, is that the original Makima pop that we got here sold very well, and probably it was one of the better selling pops. I would say Pochita, maybe Chainsaw Man's probably the better ones, maybe Power, but it's all close. But I think Makima probably sold pretty well. And I think because of that, they decided, well, we want another Makima pop out there. And they made it an exclusive, an Amazon exclusive. And here's the pop for comparison. As you might notice, there's not a lot of difference. All it is her hands. The face is the exact same. The body is the exact same. It's just the arms. Even the back of her is the exact same. Like, ugh. This is the type of pop that I don't like because it really does just feel like that they just wanted to cash in on more of this character. They already had the mold for a lot of it and they just didn't really want to do anything else with it. So they just did this. You could have easily did something like they did with Power to where you give her more of an action scene. I know that she does not have as many action scenes as Power does, but there's plenty you could have done to give her something, but they just didn't. And this is probably one of my least favorite pops in this line, simply because of how boring it is. You don't need both of these. You don't. Pick one of them you like. If you don't have either of them, get the one on Amazon. If you don't really want to go through Amazon, you don't want to worry about the shipping thing, just buy the common one that's probably everywhere. Last but not least here, we have Pochita. And I'm a big Pochita fan. I think he's adorable. I love the whole vibe here. So I'm very happy that they have made a few Pochita Pops. However, some of these are better than others. Now, originally we got this one. This is the standard common one here, and he's kind of sitting there. And what I don't really like about this one is that he doesn't really stand up that well. He kind of rocks because this little handle thing here kind of sticks up to where it doesn't really sit right, and he wobbles on it. So I don't really like that. Then we got this one, which is the Funko Shop exclusive that we got. And a lot of people, when this one was rumored to be coming, everybody thought it was a flocked version, and then it ended up not being. It's a walking Pochita. And this thing kind of looks awful because this kind of looks like a drumstick. And yeah, I mean, it works, it does the job, but it's also kind of cursed. So yeah. Then we got a box lunch exclusive here, and this is Sleeping Pochita. And while I would normally say this is just a cheap cash grab, I find this one kind of adorable, so I'm gonna let that one slide. Finally here, we got the big Pochita here. This is the 10-inch Pochita. This ended up being a Funko Shop exclusive for the US, and you can, I believe, still get it, so if you want it, you can go get it. I'm gonna be completely honest. I like this one simply because I can grab him by the handle and act like he's an actual chainsaw. Is that a simple way of accepting that it's just a cash grab to upsize all of the design elements from this one? Yeah, but it's still neat. I mean, he's cute, and I think the detail on this is actually quite well done, so there's nothing really that I'm complaining about. Does his feet still look like drumsticks? Yeah, but I think that's a Pochita problem, not a Funko Pop problem. Finally here, I wanted to show you my 3 favorites and my 3 least favorites. So number 1 here is Aki. Aki in this pop is fantastic. This is exactly what I want a Funko Pop to be like. I think this is their, when they're at their best, they're making stuff like this. Second is Power in the Bikini. I think it's a fairly well done pop. Yeah, it's kind of etchy, but hey, I like when they do stuff unique like that, and it's something unique. Also, you can see her feet on the back. Finally here, I know I kind of ragged on this one, but the Chainsaw Man from the Pop and Tea bundle, I kind of like it a little bit better than the zombie one. Do I think it's a cash grab? Yeah, but I think overall it is a well done pop. Like, there is enough differences here that if this was the original Chainsaw Man pop, it would have been a great pop. And I cannot deny they did a great job on it. I didn't say it enough, but the detail on this head for Chainsaw Man is fantastic. They really nailed it. And then bottom 3 here, Makima, this is such a waste of a pop. Like, with that one, I gave it a pass, but this one, I just can't. It's such a waste. There is very little differences here, and I just don't like it. Second is this walking Pochita here. He just looks too cursed for me. And finally, this one, this is the only one that I really have a problem with him standing sometimes. He does stand, but, he rattles, and I don't really like that, and he kind of looks like his hind legs hiked up, and I don't really like that. But like I said, don't really hate any of them from this whole line, if I'm being completely honest. Now, I do want to really quickly talk about where the line can go from here, and I want to pop up a few characters that I think would be notable additions. Most notably, Reze. Reze is the character, one of the main characters from the sequel movie, so I think having a few of her would be good. This is the real question here. Do they make a pool scene? We'll have to find out. But I think the more likely ones is that we get a standard one, and then we get a bomb one. Both of these would be great, and I'm looking forward to seeing both of them if we get them in the next year or so. Then I think another one that would be really cool is Power with her kind of new design when she's got too much blood. Be really cool to see that one. What exactly that would look like? Would they give her kind of a, just standing pose or whatever? Or would they give her kind of a fighting pose? I don't know. We'll have to see there on what they do with that, since she doesn't really get a lot of scenes with this look. But hey, maybe, maybe. Then I think if you really wanted to, just make a Denji with a flower. Just have a Denji in that line. I think that's the best way to do it. Also, and I think this one should have already came, but the Angel Devil really should have had a pop by now. Like, this is such a just needed pop because he's a really cool design. And why we haven't gotten him yet, I don't really know. I think you could make 2 of them, really, if you wanted to. Just make a standard one where he's kind of like chilling with his hands on his hips or in his pockets or whatever. And then make one to where he's standing with his big spear. I think that'd be really cool. I'd buy both of those. I mean, I know that's a cash grab, but I'd buy both of them. And finally, the one that I think would be the coolest pop ever, and there's more of them we can make, plenty of some side characters and stuff, but what would be the coolest one, and I think it'll happen, is to have the shark guy and Denji as a big moment, and Denji is riding him with the chains wrapped around his mouth and everything. Somebody made a concept art for it. I will try to find it and pop it up here. Boy, would that be cool. Man, I am so excited at the thought that we could get this pop. Man, I would love that. But anyway, that is it for my Chainsaw Man collection. Before I go, I do want to show you where it is in my collection. I do have a kind of wall of Funko Pops, and here is where it's at currently. I think it looks pretty good. Like I said, I really haven't got a ton of them yet. It's still a smaller line, so it doesn't have this like really elaborate collection yet, but I think it looks pretty cool if I do say so myself. Do you own any of the Chainsaw Man line? And if so, which one's your favorite? Which one's your least favorite? Or if you don't own any of them, why? Do you not like the series, or do you just not like any of the pops? Let me know. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, it's a bit different than what I normally make, but I hope it is of interest to some of you. And if so, I will make more like it. Like I said, almost done with the Ranma line, almost done with the Frieren line, and I am done with the Attack on Titan line. So you'll definitely see an Attack on Titan video, but hopefully you'll see the rest soon as well. Let me know if you want to see those. But anyway, thank you for watching. I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye.